This is it.
14-year-old Austin Cohen likes to walk to this spot on the fence near his house.
It's kind of just become my thinking spot where I think about things when times are hard.
This past year, he's spent a lot of time out here.
Confusion, thinking about grades, a lot of different emotions.
Last year, he spent his afternoons on a different field, the football field, with his 8th grade football team. And he did well.
His first full outdoor season as the 8th grade middle school team, he was starting running back and linebacker. He can hit and he was fast. He loved it.
And everyone knew his name. We were all looking forward to this going forward.
But Austin has spent his first year of Quince Orchard High School football watching on the sidelines through a lens.
Taking pictures of his teammates, every game, every practice.
And with every snap of the shutter, he's one step closer to getting back on the field. He was sidelined during spring football last year because of a nagging leg pain.
He told me that his leg was bothering him and he wanted to go to the doctor, which was a little weird for him.
But the nagging pain turned into an excruciating pain.
He came in the room.
2 o'clock in the morning. He goes, I don't feel good, and he was limping in.
He said, Mom, I need you, and just missed the dresser.
He passed out.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And as the pain was increasing, so was the tumor the doctors found in his femur, just above his knee.
In the beginning, you hope and you pray and you know, it's all a mistake, and then you see it and you know that it's not a mistake.
Obviously not ready for the news finding out that their child has cancer.
And not just cancer, but osteosarcoma, a bone cancer.
I didn't really believe it, but I had to really, because they're the doctors and they know best.
There are probably 300 to 400 cases a year, so if you think of overall numbers, it's actually quite rare. Often with these tumors, they cause symptoms fairly quickly, and they can grow fairly quickly.
Sadly, the Cohens are no stranger to the tragedy of cancer.
We lost my dad December 18th last year.
I kind of just needed some time alone, so I sat out here for a few hours just thinking of the times that I spent with him.
Before they shared cancer, Austin and his grandfather had a special relationship.
Very close. He taught me how to fish, we went camping. I spent a week with him every summer, ever since I can remember.
It's a very special bond.
And Austin took up his cancer fight where Grandpa Mark left off.
I think of this as me completing his journey and finishing it for him.
At the cancer ward at Children's Hospital.
A lot of the effects are immediate: nausea, vomiting, hair loss, those kinds of things.
I'll be here for 5 days, and then 1 day of fluids to flush all the chemo out.
Fortunately, he's done very well and has tolerated the chemotherapy overall quite nicely.
I've done, I want to say close to 20, I think. Somewhere close to that. I'm not really sure.
And Austin knows his Grandpa Mark would be proud of how hard he's been fighting.
I have his fishing hat, and we hang it up on my chemo every time that I come in for good luck. So, it's right there.
Austin's tumor continued to grow, even after chemo treatments.
You can no longer distinguish his knee from his leg, because of the tumor.
That's when the Cohens and their team of doctors knew they had to make the toughest decision yet.
One thought was to do what we call a limb salvage, where the tumor is removed and a prosthesis is put in place of where the diseased bone was removed. Another option would have been an amputation.
None of these options sat well with Austin, who was determined to find a way back to the field.
With the limb sparing surgery, I could have kept my leg, but I would have probably had to go in and then redo the surgery. There was also the reoccurrence of cancer, and then I didn't want to really get the amputation because I'd be different from everyone else, and when you're a 14-year-old boy, that's kind of a big thing.
That's when Dr. Carol Morris at Johns Hopkins provided the Cohens with one final choice.
I've probably done 10 in my career. So you just cut out all the skin, all the muscle.
The most unusual and uncommon of all. The one that would get him off the sidelines and back into a uniform.
Essentially, rotation plasty is an operation. You're cutting out literally everything from the middle of the thigh to the middle of the shin bone.
They didn't disconnect any of the nerves, so everything I can feel.
It looks quite odd actually at the time of surgery, and you're left with this big gap between the foot and the hip that's connected by what looks like a couple pieces of rope. You turn it 180 degrees so the toes are pointing backwards now and reconnect it up to the femur bone. And you want to do it in such a way that the ankle joint now becomes a knee joint.
And I want the same thing diagonal.
And with all of the options in front of him,
it just sounded so weird to me.
Austin made his decision.
So it's like this. And I was looking more towards the full leg amputation, but she told me that I'd be able to do all the things that I wouldn't have been able to do with the limb salvage. That really got to me.
He has researched it. He's a very intellectual kid. He's extremely mature. Really thought it through, probably in the most methodical way I've ever seen anyone think it through. He actually did it so eerily well that I questioned whether he was making a rash decision.
Throughout this whole treatment, he's been more of an adult than a child, and he'll be the first one to tell you that it was his decision.
Right here,
Right.
and then here.
Right on that bone there.
Yes.
Okay.
So where Austin's knee used to be,
Have a little scar right here.
he now has a foot. His foot.
It's a strange feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It's not my calf muscles that get tired, but it's my the muscles like on top of my shin, because those are kind of like my new hamstrings.
And he is able to attach prosthetic limbs to his foot.
It's like putting pressure onto your heel, then also putting it on your toes at the same time.
And this prosthetic will allow him to play
He'll be able to play club sports in college.
anything, including football.
I'm trying to keep like my legs together.
But before he can run,
Heel, toe,
he
heel.
has to learn how to walk again.
We'd rather get the socket shape right.
Okay.
And this procedure isn't for everybody.
He is the perfect patient for it
Why is that?
because he wants to play sports. It really wasn't so much his physical traits that made him an ideal candidate. It was definitely his personality and his maturity.
And I didn't ask you the question I have to ask.
I do not have Ebola.
Good. Any falls? Okay, thank you.
The traits that make Austin the perfect candidate
Like I can even see the muscle. It's like built. It's growing.
have also brought his community
So these are his cards.
together in support.
As you all know, this tournament's to benefit Austin Cohen.
And I felt like they put their arms around our house and just held us tight.
Yes, it's getting cold.
And at Quince Orchard High School,
Complete pass.
he's now part of the team. Again.
Now being on the JV football team and being their photographer, it's even better because all the guys are there for me. We're all really close.
That I was so proud of him for not being upset of not playing himself.
After almost a year since Austin's old leg started hurting,
It's like a big shark bite.
Austin's new leg and chemo treatments have brought good news to the Cohen house just in time for the holidays.
MRI clean, bone scan clean, x-ray clean.
I'm officially cancer-free now.
But his journey is far from over.
Within the next 3 months, I'll be able to start learning how to run. Like the chemo, it's all over.
He's finally done. So he's gonna have more hair than me.
I can walk, like everything's just back to normal. There's not too many bads, but the goods, it's just being able to get back to sports, having a cool backwards foot and a robotic leg.
And Cameron Nelson is tackled.
And after a long, hard year,
It's been a great season. Please congratulate both teams, and we'll see everyone next year.
The sun, it sets over there.
Austin is finally able to think about a new emotion at his spot on the fence.
The first time I got my leg, the first thing that I did when I came home is I walked down the street and I came here to think about it, like just thinking, wow, I have a leg now.
Austin Cohen is happy about his future, and he's taking it one step at a time. In Gaithersburg, Maryland, for Monumental Network, I'm Lindsay Simpson.